So I always come to Myntra when I have a need.
But when it comes to Gen Z, it's
Gen Zs are not from Jupiter. Gen Zs are not brand lovers. So
Correct,
of course we work for Gen Zs. They love white designs. They love grey designs. I think yes, we were the first one who came with some AI features.
which has a lot to do with the data-backed decisions that you take on the design process.
For example, you go to B2B sector or go to any SaaS product, you have to go process by process, startup setup. You might not have time to go full-fledged research.
Help us understand what are the challenges when you are solving for fashion e-commerce at Myntra. Welcome to another episode. Today I am thrilled to host Alok Kumar, a director of UX design at Myntra, the online fashion capital of India. Alok is a forward-thinking design leader with over 2 decades of experience, a doctorate in design student, and an author of a book called Psychology of UX. Alok has been at the forefront of crafting innovative user-centered design solutions for some of the biggest names in the industry, including Myntra, Vedantu, Bluestone, Walmart, and Microsoft. A passionate advocate for user research, Alok has successfully implemented design strategies that bridge user needs with business goals. He's driven impactful change through AI-driven features and played a key role in building design teams from the ground up across multiple organizations. In this episode, we dive into the unique challenges of designing for fashion, key considerations when designing for Gen Z, the innovation behind AI-driven features like Fashion GPT, Maya, and MyStylist at Myntra, the debate between first principle thinking versus a process-driven approach, insights from his book Psychology of UX Design, and what Alok looks for when hiring a mid-level designer. If you are passionate about user-centered design, AI innovation, or building strong design teams, this episode is full of actionable insights and fresh perspectives. Don't forget to follow and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app and YouTube. Your support helps us bring in more inspiring conversation with industry leaders. Let's jump in and hear from Alok. Hey Alok, thanks for joining today. It's a pleasure having you.
Hey Darshan, thanks so much for having me. Glad to be here.
Great. Alok, let's start with understanding fashion as an entire domain, right? We all knows that designing for any e-commerce is not a big challenge per se, right? Anyone knows that how to design it for showing a product, showing details, put a button out there, add to cart, buy now, and you are done, right?
Yeah.
But that is true for, let's say, other sort of e-commerce. When it comes to fashion, it's a completely different game altogether because users have a different mindset when they are coming to any fashion e-commerce. And considering Myntra is a online fashion capital in India, it's a big challenge in itself.
Correct.
Help us understand what are the challenges when you are solving for fashion e-commerce at Myntra, where the problems are not in a one direction. You have to solve it for discovery, you have to solve it for savings as a wish list also sometimes, and you have to solve it for sometimes operational challenges like multiple returns also.
Yeah.
So help us understand all the challenges comes to designing for fashion, let's say.
Got it. In fact, if I go deeper and I can kind of completely resonate with your question, uh, challenges in fashion. And I tell you, whenever I go to any conference or I meet a designers in some meetup, and a lot of designers I meet,
Hmm.
the very first thing they ask me is that, sir, what do you design for Myntra? And why do they ask that? Is that Myntra is already perfect. It's number one.
Yeah.
You can add to cart, you can check out, everything looks completely perfect. What do you do in that? And more than what, why do you do?
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
It's
And
already solved, right? What
yeah,
exactly do you do on
exactly.
top?
Exactly. People do think like, okay, I can come by and check out. It's very easily done. What do you guys keep adding every day? Okay. And the reality is, looking at the competition and looking at the industry, looking at the complete overall IT setup, how things and technology are maturing, things are moving really quick.
Hmm.
You cannot be stagnant. You cannot be sitting idle and thinking that you have made the best.
Yeah.
Just continue with that. You might not be able to continue. To one, that you become best because of your kind of experience you provide
Hmm.
and kind of services you provide. And that is how you build the trust. And touchwood, yes, we have built that trust. We are India's number one e-commerce in terms of fashion for sure. That is sorted. But then we have to keep innovating. We have to
Hmm.
keep adding new things. above whatever the experience is. Experience is there, but after some time, people will be kind of bored with what we have,
Correct.
because the reality is none of the user, or maybe very small kind of size of users, are kind of a fan following of a platform. They
Huh.
are all deal seekers. That's the reality. And if they
And
somehow
considering we are in India.
exactly, considering we're in India, all are deal seekers. Even if I love a platform, if I make my stuff expensive, people are not going to continue. So we have to figure out other way.
Hmm.
So when we talk about innovation, so we have to keep innovating. Just for example, I talk like think of a feature we built right now sometime back. It's called UGC, Ultimate Glam Clan. This feature is just all about that. Um, and I tell you the origin of this feature, why we started doing that.
Please.
We realize that people do come to Myntra because I have a need. I want to buy a black shirt. I go to Myntra, I search, I check out, I'm done. I can
Hmm.
get multiple options, I'll check out and done. So I always come to Myntra when I have a need. It's a
Correct.
very need based journey. But when I have to buy something and I want to know what do I buy, I'll not come to Myntra. I might go to maybe Instagram or Pinterest or some other platform where I can get some inspiration, right?
True.
So what's happening? I'm getting inspiration somewhere else. But then when I'm done, I'm sure that okay, I want to buy this. Maybe I'll take a screenshot of that picture. I'll image search in Myntra only and then find the product and go ahead. Move forward.
I think you have rightly put one thing. Earlier, your requirement was I need this. Now your requirement is I want this.
Correct.
Hmm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm trying to even in this with this new feature, I'm trying to even give the inspiration here at Myntra only.
Hmm.
Why do you need to go to other platform for inspiration and come here when you have decided that what exactly your need is and then move forward? So
Right.
with this, what do you do exactly? Kind of a real kind of a setup you have, the way you do scroll in Pinterest, Instagram, and other social media software. You come here and you can look at how others are looking at the stuff, how others are showcasing their style, what they're buying with their actual feedback.
Hmm.
That is helping me that I am on a passion platform. I
Hmm.
am
Hmm.
getting actual feedback and I am able to get that product and I can buy that product from there only.
So
So
I'll
I
not,
don't.
yeah, exactly. So I'll not start from when I need to buy something, right? I'll start from my discovery journey itself.
Exactly. I might even come to a platform and see that, hey, I have this function. What should I wear? Now I'll come
Hmm.
to Myntra and explore that, okay, what all options are there? And out of those options, I love this. Now I can check out this as well. So this is
Hmm.
how I'm kind of completing this journey where from my wish list, I have no idea what I should have bought. From there, I converse to, okay, I can buy this. And from that place, how do I continue journey? And with a good deal, how do I check out?
Correct.
So
Correct.
this is one of the example and a lot of those. We keep doing a lot of such examples, a lot of such features every day and now. Because again, the goal is keep innovating, keep coming with new idea, keep engaging your users. You cannot be just dependent on that your users should come to you when they need you. Need can go away. So you
Yeah.
have to build that muscle that they should be coming to you whenever they
Hmm.
think of. So the example is the reality. We see that there are a lot of people we know who come to Myntra now just to keep scrolling. Our PLP product listing page is kind
Yeah.
of a scrolling. I search for a top, I keep scrolling. Whatever I'm liking, I'll just keep adding as a wish list.
Wish list. Yeah. Yeah.
I tell you a very interesting example. I met a lady sometime back. The lady said me that, why do you have a limit in your wish list? Limit means what exactly the limit? Like you don't let me wish list after 1,000, and I'm like, you're done with 1,000. So I'm surprised to know there are people who have been scrolling
Constantly
on,
adding products
constantly
into
adding
their wish
product.
list.
Exactly, they're making their own cupboard in
Huh.
in
Huh.
Myntra only, and that's very constantly happening.
Hmm.
And once I was surprised to meet one person. Then when I met a lot of people of that sort, I like, oh, that's the real need.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these all stuff keeps giving me or keep giving us a lot of ideas, innovation ideas, and a lot of need that we need to work on this. Keep
Hmm.
innovating to stay in the market, keep delivering the best product, and keep delivering the best services. That's how this world is going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I guess users are also not happy with one thing for a long time.
Yeah.
Their liking is changing every now and then, right?
Yes.
If
Yes.
you are catering to them with some, let's say, features, some new product ideas or something like that, they'll use it for a while. They will surprise for a while, right? But
Correct.
after that, they want something new.
Yeah,
So that which will lead to you to work on something else.
exactly.
Hence, I also have a similar understanding that, best design is a myth.
Yeah.
It's never going to reach at any point of time.
Correct, correct. It's always iteration. You keep iterating, you keep moving. So it's not only just acquisition, you have to retain.
You have to
Acquisition,
retain, yeah.
retention, both are very important. You
Hmm.
might acquire because you made some awesome feature, you made some awesome social media presence, you made some awesome ad, you'll acquire, but
Hmm.
retaining them for a long time, that itself is a bigger task. And you'll have to
Hmm.
keep innovating, keep giving better services, keep doing a lot of innovative features for them. And
Hmm.
that's how you retain. And that's what we have been doing very often.
Absolutely, absolutely. Help us understand, since in the same the features that you are providing on Mintra, right? It's catering to lots of user cohorts, not just millennials, not just Gen Z, right? But when you see the kind of a ratio that people are on the platform and looking for products, I feel Gen Zs will be more than millennials. Because millennials will have some sort of a fixed idea that, I want to buy this because I've been liking this product for a while now. I do not want to change my preference. That's kind of a behavior that we have seen. But when it comes to Gen Z, it's more of what is trendy today,
Mhm.
right? Please show me something which is interesting, which help
Correct.
me stand out in my office, in my college, or whatever that place might be. That comes with other challenges also,
Exactly.
right?
That's a big
Help
one.
us understand how you cater to that segment of users.
So I think Gen Z has become a big talk of the town nowadays, right? And before talking about Gen Z, I like thanks to John Kerry, his books that says men are from Mars and women are from Venus,
Hmm,
and that help us understand that how different kind of personalities are. But I would like to highlight one thing very important that
please.
Gen Zs are not from Jupiter. They are also from here. And I feel that we are alienating them a lot. We
Hmm,
are stereotyping them a lot. We
hmm,
don't need to, a
hmm,
lot.
hmm,
And when we talk about the Indian audience primarily, and Indian audience means that does not mean just the metro cities, that does not mean just the tier one city. You have a big chunk of people sitting out of at tier two, tier three as well.
yeah.
And you might not believe that the reality is a big chunk of people, maybe more than 30-40% of the Gen Zs of India have no idea that they are Gen Z. And why I'm saying that, they have not heard even the word Gen Z because
Ah.
they don't know they are Gen Z.
Hmm, hmm, hmm,
So there's a small chunk of people, or not small, but good chunk of people
hmm,
who are very modern, sitting in tier one, sitting in metro cities.
hmm,
They
hmm.
have a very different vocabulary. They have different style. They are yo kind of people and all this stuff. They are there. But if you're talking about India, that's not the complete India. So
That's
you
not a complete picture
that's
in
not a
all the
complete
geography in
yes,
India.
that's not a complete picture of Gen Z. I mean, if you see that you get these things because you believe a lot on this Instagram Institute and the YouTube universities nowadays. You keep thinking that whatever I'm learning from there is the best.
Huh.
Of course, things are right over there, but there are a lot of stuff you need to validate. You cannot just blindly trust what you're looking at and what you're getting on social media.
Hmm,
So, yes, one, I wanted to clarify that maybe Gen Z does not mean that all the Gen Zs means very funky, different vocabulary, different style, or very bold kind of people. Yes, few
hmm.
are.
And considering
And
Mintra is not just catering to metro cities only.
correct, correct.
So, yeah,
So then my goal is that, of course, I have to cater everyone.
absolutely.
So what our research says, what we realize that
Please.
uh, Gen Zs are very trendy for, so as you were telling that, yes, Gen Zs are very trendy. Gen Zs are not brand lovers. They
Hmm,
don't care that I need Zara, I need S&M, I need this, I need that. No.
hmm,
What they love, I want this trend. This baggy denim is in trend. I want baggy denim.
hmm.
This loose fitting t-shirt is in trend.
Trend.
I want this. Floral shirt is in trend. I want that.
Hmm,
Does not matter if the floral shirt is from Rare Rabbit or Mango or H&M or whatever. Okay, that's what is our learning after meeting a lot of Gen Zs in tier one, tier two, tier three as well.
okay.
So we took the learning from there. Maybe if the brand is not important, trend is important, then highlight trend for them. You
Hmm.
work on your information architecture in that manner that that becomes the priority. You prioritize
Correct,
your
correct,
information.
correct.
You know a few things about Gen Z, like Gen Zs are modern, Gen Zs are techie, Gen Zs understand the technology very easily.
Hmm,
Then maybe if you are working on some gestures while working,
hmm,
maybe
hmm,
you might be compromising when you're working for maybe millennials or maybe oldies, that they'll not be able to understand the different or very modern kind of gestures.
Huh.
But maybe you can take that hit for Gen Zs. If you're making something for Gen Z, I am
You
sure
can
that
go all in
yeah,
for that.
they'll figure it out. Whatever kind of gestures you have, whatever kind of different kind of funky stuff you have in terms of your UI, they'll figure it out.
Hmm.
So maybe that could be your learning. You can use that in your design.
In some way, it also helps them to keep it around, right?
Exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. That's what they do.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean that you work on the copy in such a manner that all the copy has to be your kind of, right? Maybe
Correct.
it's not required. And maybe because I'm saying a lot of people in tier two, tier three are not even able to relate, even
Huh.
being the Gen Z. Then
Correct.
maybe you need to be very crisp and clean. What we realize that Gen Zs have a very small span of attention.
True.
Use that as a feedback. What information you are showcasing, what text or content you are showcasing, make sure that you are very to the point, very concise. Maybe let's not tell a lot of stuff, no jargons, be on the spot,
Precise.
very precise, and talk about the stuff. If you see on Myntra, the product detail page of forward part, which is for Gen Zs versus for normal, you'll see
Hmm.
the difference in the content.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
you'll see 30 lines in maybe normal product detail page, I will talk detail about the product. But
Yeah.
in Gen Z, you'll see lesser. You'll see content lesser because we realize the Gen Zs have less attention of span. They're not going to read your 10 lines of details. Maybe give them just 3 lines and that's sorted. That
Yeah.
is what is helping. So learn from what exactly your research also says.
Hmm.
Meet your users as well. Don't believe just completely on social media. Have
Hmm.
your own point of view. uh, Define your Gen Z or define your user. Actually, it's not just the Gen Zs. So
Correct.
of course
Correct.
we work for Gen Zs, but we relook at Gen Zs. They are the one who love simple design.
Hmm.
They love white designs. They love gray designs. That's the reality that we have learned and observed from them, and we do use that.
Absolutely. And is it fair to say that if you are catering to, let's say, tier 3, tier 4 cities in India's just for Gen Z, right? Then you have to normalize for everyone because
Exactly.
they are not in that mindset itself in the first place, right?
Yes. Yes.
But if you are designing just for metro cities who understand that you'll slang or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that, right? It's better to cater to that particular niche in itself.
Exactly. So I'm not saying don't use that. If your user is as such, your user is only
Correct.
metro cities, go all along in your that language and that tone, that new vocabulary.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
if you're actually just thinking like Miso, just for example, I
Hmm.
mean, they are very more active maybe in tier two, tier three. That's my understanding.
Absolutely,
If
yeah.
they define their Gen Zs of this sort and use their slang language like this, I'm sure they are going to struggle badly because people might not be able to relate the
Relate.
words or kind of language.
Yeah.
So you need to know your user. It's not about Gen Z millennials. It's about the user,
Hmm.
whoever the users are, and then use that feedback, insight in your design and your design decisions, language. That is more important in my eyes.
Okay. So in this solution journey that you talked about, right, where the simplicity is there and lots of interesting motion-driven UI is also there, right?
Yeah,
Which has a lot to do with the data-backed decisions that you take on the design process.
correct.
Which is, I feel that sometimes you have to take those decisions based on your instinct, which is, I would say, the first principle thinking that you have in mind. But on the other hand, you also have to respect the research and process driven approach also.
Correct.
Help us understand in this kind of a situation, what would you really would like to go about?
Very conflicting it could be maybe. And why I'm saying that, I see industry into these two parts sometime and few people are here and there, is that few people are like a lover of this first principle thinking.
Hmm.
Few people are now we have to go very deep detailed research all the process and then only I can converse, then only I can deliver. Other than that, it's impossible for me.
Hmm.
um,
For some, it's a proper blueprint that they do not want to
exactly.
come out of.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
there are requirements accordingly. Just for example, you go to B2B sector or go to any SaaS product, you have to go process by process because that itself is complex in nature.
Correct, correct.
If you skip a lot of process, if you skip a lot of ways of working over there, you might be struggling.
Hmm.
You might be struggling. You will not get the desired output that what we're expecting. That you might not get. But the moment you go to maybe a startup setup
Hmm.
where you might not have time to go full-fledged research, go follow all the processes, then you might be thinking, oh, I have to use my first principle thinking, move forward, and then maybe I might do usability testing maybe later, or maybe I
Hmm.
can skip that as well. And I see a lot of people are even skipping that testing as well. Not meeting the user is a norm nowadays. I mean, completely okay. Why do I need to meet users? I'll go live and I'll test via AB and all.
But is it fair to say that that's completely depend on the resources you have in the on the table?
I'll say it's not completely on just the resources, it's also kind of product you're working. If
Okay.
the product is really complex, you need to test with the user for sure.
Hmm.
Or also, where does this first principle thinking come from? I feel personally that when you are kind of in your very early phase of your career, you want to follow all the process because you have almost no or very little experience that you can refer from to make your new product,
Right.
right? So in that case, you are kind of very dependent on the process, all the documents, data you have, all the learnings you have from previous, and that's how you follow all the process.
Hmm.
You come to this first principle thinking the moment you see, hey, suppose I have to build a referral program for one new organization or new product where I'm working now, but
Right.
in maybe in my entire 20 years of experience, I might have made referral three more times in some
Hmm.
other organizations. I don't need to maybe do the research again. I don't need to plan the complete flow again because I am the one who have good idea that what will work, what will not work. There my expertise comes.
Yeah, that my mental model is already set for the process, let's
Exactly.
say.
At least I know what not to do.
What not to do. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
There's
exactly.
no point doing that research again. There's no point building that flow again that I maybe made three more times.
Correct,
I
correct.
might immediately tell my team, look, I know this much, at least this is 80% done. Plan for this next 20%. There's no point spending time on this 80% because this is proven theory. I have done multiple times, it's tested, it's been positive. Move on.
But in that case, help us understand if someone is not at a, let's say, leadership level, right, and just starting out their career with 1 year, 2 years of experience, right? What would be your advice for them? Do they should they follow the first principle thinking always, or should they always rely on the data?
I feel that at the very early phase of your career, you need to follow the processes. That's what is
Hmm.
my, again, my personal kind of a recommendation is that you must be following the processes. You must be looking at the data,
Hmm.
whatever way it's possible. It could be qual, it could be quant. If not possible, can you meet your users? Can you get some data? That is going to help you a lot because that's the phase you are not aware of your users. You have not
Ah.
empathized well with the users. You must do that. And
Hmm.
maybe just because so early phase of career, you cannot get that information at all by just reading somewhere and just talking to somebody else other than your users. So you need to
Absolutely.
meet your users very often for sure at the early phase of a career. But what happens that maybe when you spend good amount of time in a career, you have a good understanding of the user, but make sure that you are not biased. That's also very important.
Yeah, yeah.
If you can control your that emotions, then make sure you move to first principle. But at the early phase of a career, I highly recommend that you follow the process, understand that, and build that muscle to be able to use first principle after some time when you
Hmm.
are kind of
Hmm.
well trained to do that part. A lot of time I see that people are like a lot about this craft is very important. I'm not denying that part, craft is not important, of course craft is important, but I'm saying that only craft cannot take you everywhere.
Yeah,
Only craft
yeah.
will not take you to a level. At certain level, yes, of course, because you're a designer, craft is important, you'll do that. But after a certain point, that empathy, getting closer to the user, knowing the process,
Even
knowing the
respecting a business strategy also you have
exactly,
to pay attention to.
exactly, talk to business language. You
Yeah,
need to understand the business. Otherwise, you'll keep blaming others. You will be saying all the time, "My PM does not understand me." PM will say, "My business does not understand me." That's very often it happens only when you don't understand the complete ecosystem.
correct,
The
correct.
moment you will start understanding this ecosystem, you will stop blaming.
True.
So empathy is not just for the users.
Yeah,
Empathy is also for your team.
yeah.
Understand why your PM is behind you, why
Mhm.
business is behind the PM. If you'll understand that part, maybe you'll be able to do good justice to the product you're working on,
Hmm.
and that's very important. So I see focus on first principle thinking for sure, but
Hmm.
maybe when you are well trained to
Right.
apply that first principle thinking, then of course you must go.
Got it, got it. Alok, help us understand since AI is very hot topic in the market, right?
Yeah.
And as per my knowledge so far, Myntra is the only platform who leveraged AI in a very right way and cater those kind of a features to users so that they can leverage the capabilities of AI. which has a couple of footprints on the Myntra app itself, like Maya, MyStylist, and Fashion
Fashion
GPT
GPT.
also. So help us understand, being the first player in the fashion category itself, right? What were the strategy was there that you have followed, and how the entire process have been doing that?
First of all, thanks that I'm glad to know that people think like this about our AI initiatives. I think yes, we were the first one who came with some AI features when AI launched. I remember ChatGPT launched, and in couple of months only we were up with our first
Exactly.
feature, which was Fashion GPT.
Yeah.
And then we keep innovating, we keep working on multiple features, and we are still working. I mean, you might know about these two, three only, which is customer facing. We have worked on a lot more on backend part for
Seller
helping our
side of
sellers.
platforms
Yeah, like
also.
helping our sellers predict their what could be sold more so that they can plan their warehouse.
Hmm.
They can get ready for sale. EORS is coming, so I can predict and tell you that this t-shirt is going to be sold a lot. Make sure that you be ready with this, so that because if they are ready, I am ready. I am able to deliver
Exactly.
on the spot, on time.
Yeah, you
So
give you basically get the kind of prediction on your supply so that you can cater to your
correct.
demand well.
And I tell you exactly what we do for that. I'm coming to that, coming out of this customer part and coming here first, is
Sure.
that uh, we kind of crawl our data on social media. We
Hmm.
crawl our data on our own platform, and then we can kind of predict that what kind of trend is coming,
Oh,
what kind of trend is going to go all in
okay.
next quarter or something,
Hmm.
what is sold a lot at our platform, and which is the product is very likely to be sold very often and in a big number.
Considering
And
the users trend on all of your handles,
exactly.
let's say.
It's not just the Mintra, it's also complete social media as well. That also helps us understand that maybe this burgundy t-shirt or
Hmm.
this top might sell more. So I can inform my my sellers that be ready. EORS
Great.
is coming.
Yeah.
And then I am able to deliver on time. So those kind of stuff also we have built, which is for backend part. We have also even on our product detail page we worked on summarizing the complete detail. Like if you go to any product detail page, you'll see a lot of big detail about a product, right? It will be some 10, 20 lines as well.
Hmm.
And maybe just think of maybe reviews of some product. There are thousands of review, 500
You
is
can't really
positive
go on
and
to
so
each one
many.
and understand what they are
Exactly. I
saying.
mean, you started reading, first is positive, second is negative, third is positive, fourth is positive. I'm confused, what do I do now? How many should I read, or what do I
Right.
conclude? So
Right.
then we used even chat gpt and all there as well to conclude
And
for
actually,
you.
those are on a both ways, right? Few are quantitative and few are qualitative also. When you
Correct.
just want to see the
Correct.
macro level of ratings only, it's
Yes.
quantitative. You will
Yeah.
easily get to understand what is
Exactly.
happening. But you want to
Exactly.
understand the quality part?
Yeah, so if I see that 500 reviews, which is qualitative part, I summarize all those in a
Exactly.
paragraph. It's going to help you that out of 500 reviews, this looks like 800 or 200 people says positive, 300 people said there's an issue in size,
Hmm.
200 said that the color might fade. That
Correct.
is going to help you. So something of those sorts are possible that we tried, we did. Coming back to your problem of question of sorry, Fashion GPT,
Hmm.
Maya, MyStylist, and a lot of other stuff. We built all those features because we realized there was a need.
Okay.
And the reality is, when we entered that time, only goal for the all the product was to make an AI feature. Forget about what users are looking for, because
Okay.
AI has come, so I have to make AI feature. I don't know how it will help,
Hmm.
but one thing we were seeing that what was happening at Mintra, that people do come to Mintra. I think we were discussing earlier as well that
Hmm.
if I have to be ready for my sister's wedding,
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
do I wear? I'll plan myself that okay, in my sister's wedding, maybe should I wear like coat and pant versus should I also wear sherwani, or
Sherwani.
what should I wear?
True.
And I'll think of that, I'll search that.
Hmm.
So who is working? I am working.
Correct.
Experiment part, research part is something that I am doing myself,
Hmm.
and then searching on Mintra. We
Hmm.
try and bridge that gap, that why do you need to do that labor
Why
effort?
do you even need
Why
to
don't
brainstorm?
exactly why don't you ask Mintra only, hey, it's my sister's wedding, what do I wear?
Tell me something.
Exactly, and Mintra will tell you, hey, you can wear sherwani, you can wear dhoti kurta, go very regional, you can wear maybe whatever. So
Whatever.
and I can give you multiple options, this plus this, these are options available
Hmm.
that we could achieve via Fashion GPT.
Hmm. Hmm.
People need not to search that okay what I'm looking for. So we saw a lot of people searching like what do I wear for my Goa vacations? I'm going for a beach vacations. I don't need to type hat, cap, my sunglasses, shorts. No, I can just search for this. Okay, what do I wear in Goa? And you get the good list. You search from that. You add to cart. So
Hmm.
those kind of problem was solved with the help of Fashion GPT.
Hmm.
User requirement was different. They were looking for something else. They were searching for something else.
Hmm.
But with the help of AI driven things, with the help of Chat GPT, we built this feature of Fashion GPT that helped bridge that gap. Continuing to that, we also worked on the Maya, which is kind of a fashion assistant, AI fashion generator assistant who help you. Kind of you can communicate with Maya now. That was a one-way communication. You ask Fashion GPT about one tweet, one prompt, you get the answer, you're done.
Hmm.
But in Maya, you can keep continuing.
Continuous
Hey,
conversation.
exactly. I'm looking for a black shirt. This is awesome. Can you have a stripe in this? This is perfectly fine. Can I get the same thing in 1,000 rupees now? Something like that, all right? There's a kind
Yeah,
of conversation like you debate, discuss with the person. If you go to a showroom with bhaiya
exactly.
or dikhao wale feeling, right?
Yes.
That you keep doing here with Maya. And we have been, our team has been continuously improving on that, working on a lot of stuff. But here,
But having said that, help us understand when you guys have started working on the AI feature itself, right? Chat GPT was not that even mature at that time, right?
correct,
So the kind of conviction that you get from the capabilities is very low at that time,
correct,
right? So
yes,
what
yes.
were those challenges that you have faced, and also assume that it will be not a right fit for us to work on these area of the feature right now? Maybe we'll do
Yes.
it definitely later, but not
Not
right
right
now.
now. I tell you, there one thing changed for the UX designers or maybe people who are working on such features. Your normal process remains like a PM will think of, business will think of something, it will go to PM,
Right.
PM will think of some process, some feature, it will come to you as a problem statement, you'll work on that. This is how the normal process works.
Correct.
Think of some solution and then you'll kind of challenge your tech team that, hey, it is possible, feasible, if not, do it, figure it out, whatever. But here, when we were working on this, you're right, there were challenges.
Hmm.
When ChatGPT came, results were not awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, we were struggling, and yes, we worked on that, and we were struggling badly. That yes, the kind of results we are looking for was not coming. Like look at Maya as well; it did not have a memory. When I say memory, you search for something, you discuss something, you're done. You close Maya, you come back again. It
It
has
starts from
lost the
fresh.
context, lost
Yeah.
all the context. It's a restart for you,
Hmm.
right? But these were because there's a constraint. This is
Correct.
not something in our hand. So we are working with the constraint. So
Okay.
what changed here in the process is that you know the constraint first.
Hmm. Hmm.
You sit with the DS team, discuss about all the constraint of all these features of Gen AI, whether it's a Chat GPT or whatever we have using. Know the constraint and then innovate with that constraint. That itself is a big journey and it's
Yeah.
a big learning for all the people.
Hmm.
Everyone cannot work in the constraint because oh I want to do this, I'm not able to do this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
think that that constraint is there. Why? Because it's not something that you will challenge someone and no, let's figure it out. How do we solve this? It's not your product at all. You
True.
can't do at all anything.
Yeah.
So in that case, you need to know those constraints much before and make sure that you innovate, but with the constraint. So yes,
Hmm.
this memory was a concern. Kind of results you are getting was a kind of not up to the mark. We keep improving. Also, if I talk about improving that, our feature was MyStylist, right? If you look at our feature MyStylist, it's
Hmm.
a feature for curating good looks for you. If you tell me this
Right.
t-shirt, I'll tell you with this t-shirt, this denim on this shoes will go.
Right.
For that, we had lot of fashion designers in our office sitting and training our A model that with this t-shirt, this denim can go.
Okay.
This is a better look than that. So since there was a struggle, since the output what we are getting was not up to the mark, we
Hmm.
trained the model to make the looks better and then we move forward. So this is how, I mean, of course, you need to know the challenges, constraint, and then innovate with that. That's how we have been doing. And of course, we have not reached there where we wanted to, but still, this is journey. We are into the journey. Let's see how it goes.
Definitely, that's incredible to know. And the way you executed in a way that it's not just a capability that we have right now, right? It's our job to make sure that capability is also matured enough.
Yeah,
So to make that happen, you also put in a lot of efforts to make it happen.
yeah,
Also,
yeah.
that's great to know. Alok, let's zoom out a little bit from Mintra and touch upon your initiative. I would say very interesting initiative that you have taken for your book called Psychology of UX.
Correct.
I have read that and got to understand that it's very to the point, very example driven with lots of jargons and gyans, but with exactly relating with all the products out there, not just in India but globally also. So if you can talk about what was the reason for you to take this initiative and
Uh,
what's the outcome, how do you feel about it?
yeah, would love to talk about this. I'll tell you the origin of this book was I was looking for a book where I can get all the examples because I have been a good or big lover of psychology,
Yeah.
uh, big fan of gamifications, biases, and all those stuff. I love that, and I love to utilize all those in my designs and at least connect that how and what is being used and how it can be improved.
True.
And I kind of failed to figure out a book or a place where I get all the examples,
Hmm.
where I can relate the theory with the practical. Somehow it was not possible. It was not available, or maybe even if it was available, there was no Indian context.
Huh.
So what I want to do primarily is that in my book you'll see it has all the psychological laws, biases, gamification, and all those stuff with theory plus the examples of the app that you might be using every day. You think of any app you're using, like maybe Swiggy, Myntra, Flipkart, Make My Trip, even your dating apps, and go to social media, all the app that you must be using almost every day or every second day. You are
Hmm.
having the examples from those apps and understanding that what kind of laws they're using, what kind of
Hmm.
gamification methods they're using, and what you can learn from that and how you can use that,
Hmm.
and how if someone is doing good or bad, good point of view around that, how it could have been improved and how it can be better.
Better. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this books helped users kind of to understand how do I apply those all psychological theories and gamification laws in the real life examples, and also observe what they are already using,
Hmm.
how they are motivating you.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
know that I'm getting motivated because of some factors. Now I'm able to relate. I am getting motivated because of this factor. So that helped, and that's good because of that only. That good. That book is kind of loved by a lot of people, and I see it was more than couple of months, like most sold book on Amazon, like
Amazon.
best
Yeah.
buyer
Yeah.
on Amazon for more than couple of months as well. And even during Diwali, it was the most gifted book on Amazon. I'm surprised who was gifting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I got a very good response for the book, and people love that.
Awesome. Awesome. Alok, we come to the very last part of the episode. But before we really jump onto that, I want to understand one interesting aspect for most of the junior designers out today want to know also. Because when you are in the junior or let's say senior mid-level segment, right, you are always execution heavy kind of a role that you are into, right? But when you are required to go to a managerial role, it's a completely different game that you need to play in the organization, and which also requires a different skill set as well. Because
Correct.
day in day out, whatever you were communicating to people, whatever the strategy you were following in doing your job is different now. How should one think about it in a way that the journey will not be that difficult for them and it becomes easier over time?
Um, I'll talk about my experience, not from the only the current one. I'll talk from maybe couple of and more than that previous places I have worked upon.
Hmm.
What I feel that when someone is junior and me sitting at a senior level, how do I take a call that the person should be promoted now?
Hmm.
We look at the person's IC capabilities. The person is awesome in problem solving. He or she can do good Figma skill he or she has. He is good at all the IC skill. He is awesome. Now let's promote him.
Hmm.
The moment I promote him, he or she becomes a manager. And the moment he or she becomes a manager, he is supposed to manage a person that I have not even evaluated.
Correct.
So I see that gap a lot.
Hmm.
I look at IC role,
Hmm.
awesome IC role, and give him a managerial role. So is there a way to evaluate the person that is the person also a good mentor?
True.
Is he or she helping junior designers in terms of upgrading, upskilling, and all those stuff? Is that happening? Because the moment you become a manager, it's divides, right? You do a lot of people job and then few of ICA job as well. So
And
I
sometimes you also require to be on the both the sides, right?
exactly. So you do both actually. So there's some new skill is coming that you have not been even evaluated on,
Exactly.
right? So either you figure out some training for them, you make sure that they understand that people part because in IC they're awesome. That's why they're getting promoted. They're sorted. Of
Exactly.
course, there's a scope everywhere. The person can upskill and move forward, but that people part I think they need some training where I see it's lacking. In some bigger organizations, of course, they have a good plan about a lot of trainings around that. But in smaller places, in startups, I see that challenge. And I can just think of quickly a very funny story of my
Please.
own previous, at least 15 years back story. I was lucky enough to become a manager in a very early phase of my career. So my experience is 20 years, around 4 years, 5 years, I was experienced older and I became a people manager.
Hmm.
And that to a team of some 10, 12 designers.
Hmm.
Okay, it was in Gurgaon, some small ad agency I was working for.
Hmm.
And I was just crossing in a bay. One of my designer called me, Alok, can you just look at my design?
Huh.
So, and it was a public forum, everyone was there, it was on the bay.
Hmm.
And I saw the design and I somehow did not like the design.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And I gave the feedback upfrontly.
Yeah.
I did not like.
Hmm.
And I just conveyed that I don't like this had this problem, that problem, whatever my way of telling it was, I just
Correct.
conveyed. And then the person sat and I moved. I went to my seat after
Hmm.
some time. The moment I sat on my laptop, I opened the mail. I saw a mail from the same designer.
Okay.
And it says the file was kept in a Google Drive.
Hmm.
Not Google Drive, some drive, because there was not a time of Google Drive. I'm talking about very previous story.
Huh.
In some shared drive. And below that, in a big and bold letter, it was written, do it yourself.
Okay.
And I was the manager. I was like, how dare you? Okay. That was my way of thinking that time. And then, but I did not go there to the person and talk, how dare you? But I realized, oh, something I have done wrong.
Correct. Correct.
And why it happened? Because I thought that I am manager now. I can give the
Your role
feedback.
is to just give the
I
feedback,
can give the
but it's not
feedback.
limited to that only.
Exactly. I maybe there's a nicer way to say that it's not a nice design.
Hmm.
I had to learn that. It was very early phase of my career, first job as a manager, and then I did a blunder.
Yeah.
So I see that training, that level of training has to be there. The empathy has to be very different for you when you are kind of you become a people person.
Hmm.
Of course, upskilling is required. You also have to think about your team member. How do they grow?
Correct.
If they feel that they can learn something from you, then only they are going to respect you.
True.
If they feel that they are not going to learn anything from you, whatever you
You're
do,
done.
whatever your experience is, they are not going to respect you at least.
True.
Of
True.
course, on the face, they might not tell you anything because you are the manager,
True.
but you are not going to get the respect. So you have to figure out that that learning, that skill set is beyond the craft, is a lot into leadership level, a lot into people level that
Hmm.
people need to learn. And of course, that craft level, those things are of course important.
Hmm.
Building the new skill, getting new technology, learning, and all those stuff. That is of course important. That's part of life. You cannot skip that at all. That is your bread and butter.
Then in that case, what do you exactly look for when you are hiring a mid-level designer in your team? I'm asking this question not regarding the context of the Myntra itself, but wherever you are. What is your criteria of looking for a mid-level designer in your team?
All right. So one is that if pedagogy is there, it's awesome. When I say pedagogy means if coming from renamed good bigger colleges or good degree, that helps for sure because that clears your fundamentals. I know that
Hmm.
fundamentally I don't need to test you. That is first. But that does not remain the biggest criteria because there's a lot of time your portfolio tells a lot more than your pedigree.
Yeah.
So then in that case, my your portfolio becomes the bigger hero. Okay.
True.
If your portfolio is awesome, then maybe I can compromise on your pedigree as well.
Hmm.
But if your pedigree is awesome and portfolio is not awesome, then of course you're not in the list for sure.
True.
So of course your portfolio becomes the number one here by default. I look at the people in terms of their skill set. I look at the people in terms of their problem solving skill. I'll go deeply and kind of sit with you, do brainstorming, do whiteboarding. Me or somebody from my team will do that just to evaluate that how do you attack a problem.
Hmm.
Like, do you just attack a problem? Like, if I give you a problem, you quickly start telling me solutions. If you do that, sorry, you are out.
Yeah.
Why? Because you did not go deeper in the problem.
Yeah.
You immediately in the pressure because you are an interview, you thought of just giving me solutions. It's
That's not the goal.
possible. Yeah, it's possible that within 2 minutes, 10 minutes, you might not have a good solution. It's obvious.
Hmm.
But did you go deeper? Did you take good right to try to attack a problem? That is important in my eyes. I do kind of evaluate in those manner. And one more very important part I see is that hunger for learning. That I see
Hmm.
that I cannot teach anyone. skill set can be taught. If you're not good in Figma, maybe somebody from my team or somebody can tell you tool and somebody can teach you the skills. But that hunger I cannot teach you.
And
If you're
ethics
not
you can't learn.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you don't have hunger to learn new thing, keep learning new thing and then innovate and come with solutions, come with ideas, then it's not going to help. So being innovative, hunger for learning, and all this stuff. So in short, if I tell, I kind of always look for a very T-shaped designers. You know everything, but there's one thing I am expert in. And maybe I would like to call it out of my 20 people, this is expert in this is expert in this, but then everyone knows everything. That is something is always needed. And in this industry where I feel things are moving very fast, right? You need to be a T-shaped one for sure. And if you have more than one skill, there's of course way better, but
Yeah.
at least one skill, be expert, but know everything. That's very important.
Got it. Got it. Great, Alok. For you guys, in case you have any questions or something that we haven't covered in this conversation, let us know in the comment section below and we'll get it answered by Alok.
Thank you. So
So,
we'll do
yeah,
that.
thanks,
Yeah.
Alok, for joining today. It was really interesting conversation.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed here. Love the questions. Love the interaction. We chit chat more than normal.
Yeah,
Interesting. Glad to have me. Thank you for having me. Thank
sure. Thanks. Thanks.
you.
Our main goal with this podcast is to bring insightful conversation to help you grow in your career by inviting leaders who are driving impact at scale. If you find this episode useful, make sure you subscribe because that only helps us to invite incredible guests for the future episodes. And in case you have any suggestions about who we should invite and what all topic we should cover, let us know in the comment section below. We are always listening to make sure we deliver exactly what you are looking for.